Okay, hi there. Looks like we've got most of our participants online, so that's really, really awesome. Thank you so much for taking some time out um, of your very valuable day to go through all of our research that we've been doing for coronavirus. So I just want to double check, can people still hear me? If you would just want to get on the chat and just say yes, please. Awesome. Looks like it's great. Okay, so I'll jump into it. If there's any questions or queries, please do just put them in the chat, and I will do my very best to go through them all. I am also recording this webinar, so in case I stuff it up, like it's my first time that I've been doing this, so hopefully we have some good records for you. So what are we going to cover today? Today we're going to cover what is coronavirus. Let's really debunk all of the myths out there and figure out how the government stimulus package is going to help your small business, and to understand the new emergency laws that have been enacted in this past week, and also to see what your employer obligations are if you need to shut down, and some ethical strategies that you can use to really put your business into practice and to continue your operations. And we're also going to look at how Catalyst Plus is still here to serve you and to help you out. So let's get into it. Coronavirus. It's a bit exciting. The symptoms are very similar to the flu. So most common is that you'll get the fever, a cough, and shortness of breath. Some of the less common symptoms are muscle pain and sputum production, which is like extra liquids out of your mouth, I believe, and a sore throat. So I'm not a genius at it, but that's my understanding. So basically, you're not going to really notice whether or not you've got the flu or coronavirus. So I think that's one of the reasons why everybody's a little bit worried. So according to the World Health Organization, the coronavirus, or COVID-19, spreads by touching contaminated surfaces and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. Or you can get it within standing of 1 meter of an infected person. So COVID-19 spreads very similar to the flu. And that's why people are getting a little bit concerned about it, because there's no known cure at this point in time. So quick little, I know you've probably all read about it and everything, but this is what the World Health Organization recommends. They recommend that we wash our hands on a regular basis for up to 20 seconds, or as my preschool friends say, you sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or that you sing Happy Birthday whilst you wash your hands. Then we also need to get very conscious about avoiding touching our face, our eyes, our mouth, and our nose. So those areas are how we're contracting the COVID-19. They also recommend that we avoid unnecessary contact with those people who are vulnerable. And this is mainly those people, I just saw it from Storm. Thank you so much, Storm. Sputum is from your lung. So thank you for that. I should have double checked it. So, but yeah, so sputum's from your lung. So good chat there. So sorry. So back to avoiding contact with people who are vulnerable. We, if you need to, of course, but we're just looking to minimize that impact and minimize how much time we're spending with people that are vulnerable. Always, 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 and this is just basic hygiene, cover your cough with the bend of your elbow. That is a really, really great way. All of my friends and who are like ambulance officers and nurses and stuff, they always say do that in your elbow because then your hands are still clean. So that's, if you're not already doing that, that's a good habit to get into. And always disinfect your surfaces that you're regularly using. And if you are unwell, and this should be the same for every sickness that we have, please stay at home and call your healthcare provider for your next steps. And if you are on Stalkerbook or Facebook, as the other people call it, please, please, please share only information from trusted sources. So we researched this and we made sure that we got it from the World Health Organization, so that we're getting the best knowledge out there for you. So how on earth are we going to protect our businesses from this? One of the really key areas that, if you can, work from home. A lot of the work that many of us do is online. Can use our computer. If we can pick up a laptop and do our work from home, that is heaps better. It reduces the risk to everybody and is something that we've implemented in our business. You can also provide alcohol wash if you can actually get it, but there are some sources that I believe you can still get it from Officeworks for businesses. You just need to show your ABN and they will get that to you. And another thing that one of our people in our world highly recommended, and I think it's a great idea, is if you have a retail business, use your FPOS tap and go. So I know usually I recommend not to do that because it is using the credit card facility, but it is definitely worth it to save your employees from handling cash, because as we all know, handling cash is dirty anyway, but it could have been with somebody that was infected. Other ways that you could do continue your business is to encourage free deliveries to your customers. So this could be, if you're a cafe, you could deliver to people's doorstep and just step away, make sure that they collect their food. They can tap and go, or they could pay upon order. So that is a quick little update of what coronavirus is and how you could protect your business. But basically, I think we're all just going to have very, very clean hands after all of this. So, but that's where we're at. So the part that I know a lot of you have been asking me about is this government stimulus. So that has been, the Commonwealth Government has announced a $17.6 billion emergency COVID-19 stimulus package. This is phenomenal. And as you can see with this pie chart, that 45% is going to the cash flow for small business employers, and another 22% of this money is going to business to reinvest in equipment. There's also another 27% that's going to household stimulus, and that's mainly, just helping individuals' tax returns. And then there's also the pensioner and severely affected sectors are going to get a one-off additional payment in their pension. So, so that's really, really awesome. delivery and stimulus package for our Australian economy. But today we're going to focus on what this means for business. So the two areas that is really going to be our area of focus is how the government is supporting business investment and how we're going to get cash flow assistance. So the first one, supporting business investment. A lot of you already know about the instant asset write-off, for which is currently at $30,000. But the government has announced that they're extending that to $150,000 for businesses with an aggravated turnover of less than 500 million. Now, what does all of that really mean? The first thing, instant asset write-off. Basically, what that means is you go out, you buy an asset, let's say it's a car and it's $30,000 and it's used 100% for business, then you will be able to, in your tax return, reduce that $30,000 from the profit of your business. So that is not what some people have incorrectly in the past thought is the government giving them 30,000. It just means that they're reducing the taxable income value by that asset, that total asset value. And so now it's gone from 30,000, which is our day-to-day. And if you've bought an asset for your business from the 12th of March right up until the 30th of June, if it's over 30,000 but less than 150, you can write it off. So if you are out there and you've got a coffee bean business, for instance, and you want to go buy yourself a coffee roaster, now's the time to do it. Now, if you've got an aggravated turnover, this is such crazy terminology that the government uses and accountants use. But basically what it means is if you've got a business that has multiple sister and brother companies, then they take it as one big group. So if you've got common ownership, common directors, they will look at that holistically and say, okay, that group of companies has less than 500 million in turnover or sales, and therefore it's allowed to use this new instant asset write-off. This number, I had to triple check it because it was crazy, $500 million. It used to be $5 million, right? So it's it used to be 5 million, and then when they moved it to 30,000, it was 50 million. So they've just put an extra zero on the end of that number. So what that means for you as my business owners, any asset that you purchase in your business will be fully deductible straight against your tax return, so that it will reduce the value of tax you need to pay on the income of your business. I am not encouraging you to go out and buy stuff, right? If you can't use it, and if it's like, because you have to pay for it, right? So if you can't use it, if it isn't necessary for your business, please don't go wild and buying stuff. But if it is definitely going to give you a future benefit and make a lot of difference to your business, by all means, buy it on this side of 30 June rather than the other side. The second part of this supporting business investment is a little bit ambiguous, but basically they've put an extra 3.2 billion towards business investment, and that will mean that if you buy an asset after the 30th of June and it's a higher value, like, so it's higher than that $30,000 value, you'll be able to depreciate that piece of equipment a lot quicker. So it will help in your 2021 tax return period, but not in the current tax return period. So I hope that that makes a bit of sense to you all. And yeah, so the next part, and I'm sorry, this is a bit of a dry subject, but hopefully we're getting enough info to you. So the second part is the cash flow assistance for small businesses. And this bit I'm really, really excited about, because this part is going to help the vast majority of everybody in my calculator world. So first up, if you have employees and you have pay-as-you-go withheld, you will be receiving a 50% rebate on all of that pay-as-you-go withheld to a maximum of $25,000. Now, this is automatically going to happen in your next March BAS and your June BAS. For those of you who are on a monthly pay-as-you-go withheld installment, then it's going to start occurring from your February, March, April, May, and June installments. So the government have been really great to launch all of this for us. They just haven't yet shown us how we can apply for the rebate. So this is something that we will be doing that pretty soon. Now, if you want to employ new staff, it's still going to be it's still going to happen. So Deb, that's a brilliant question. If you hire new staff in the future, so let's say you hire new staff next week and you start collecting pay-as-you-go withheld from their wage, in your BAS, you will get that refund, that rebate, sorry, not a refund, the rebate. So, so that's really going to help a lot of small business owners. And basically what it will mean is for every dollar of pay-as-you-go withheld, 50 cents of it is going to come back to you. So, and you won't have to pay it to the ATO. So that's really, really, really good impact for you all. And of course, we're going to do our very best to make sure that we maximize as much of that for you as possible. The second rebate, the second cash flow assistance, sorry, not a rebate, cash flow assistance, is the wage subsidy for employers who have apprentices and trainees. That's going to be up to $21,000 per apprentice, per trainee. Now, this is really, really massive, and I want to delve into it just a little bit more because it is a little bit more complex. So that's why we've created this new slide. So 50% of your apprentices or trainees' wage for the 9-month period from the 1st of January all the way up to the 30th of September will be subsidised by the Australian government. So, so they're backdating it all the way from the 1st of January. So that's really great. What it is doing though is it's only for small business owners, those that have less than 20 employees. So we always talk about, well, what is a small business? For this purpose, it's somebody with less than 20 employees. You must retain that apprentice or trainee for that time period. So for example, let's say your apprentice is to complete their training at the end of this year, then you would be retaining that apprentice throughout that time period. One area that we are looking at is, well, what happens for those apprentices that finish their qualification, or their trainee who finish their qualification mid-year, for example, like, you know, you still keep them as a full-time person thereafter, but their qualification is finished. My understanding so far, this is new legislation, but my understanding so far is that you will still be entitled to a portion of their wage. So that's really great news. The government, again, has been amazing and getting these ideas out and getting the promises out. But the registrations for this does not apply until the 2nd of April. So at the moment, we're doing all the research that we can, and my team are ready to apply for this for you, but it's not yet ready to the general public to apply for. So yeah. Now, Deb has asked another really great question about what qualifies as a trainee. And how does the government administer the funds? Well, yes, you're right. We do not know how it's going to happen yet. They have just gone out and said, this is what we're going to do. But there is a special website for us to apply on your behalf. And they're launching that on the 2nd of April. I understand from other similar schemes like this that they tend to, once you hit certain criteria, we need to provide copies of your trainees' pay slips for that time period, and then they give you a refund of that money. A trainee is considered somebody that is already registered with the Australian Apprenticeship Support Network. So you must pass this eligibility assessment. And from what I understand, has the apprentice been registered? Do you properly have less than 20 employees? Has that apprentice been engaged with you before or on the 1st of January onwards, and then goes from there. But the idea of this package is for you to be encouraging to keep your apprentices and trainees, which are often the first people that we say, well, we can't keep you on. As employers and small businesses. So this is a really, really great support network for you guys. And if you do have somebody registered, then that would be great. And Christiana, that is a brilliant question about, do you have proof? She's asked, do you have proof that your business has been affected by this? No. As long as you have an apprentice or a trainee, and as long as you have tax withheld from people's wages, then you're entitled to these stimulus packages. So that's one of the things that is really, really encouraging from how the government has dealt with this situation. So I hope that helps. And Maddie, that's a brilliant question as well. If you put a new apprentice on, I believe the answer is yes. It also does work from the research that we've done. The research that we've found is that we have, like, if, for example, the apprentice has changed employers, then the incentive goes with where the trainee or apprentice is. So say, for instance, I'm a builder and I have I'm taking over somebody else's apprentice. Then from the moment that I take on their employment, then I'm entitled to their subsidy. And Roxy, just one little question going back to the previous slide, which was the slide before. It was for whoops, we're almost running out of time. So it was for the 30,000. It's for each equipment. So if you had 3 pieces, like say you bought 3 trucks, for 150,000, then you would get 3 times 150,000 as your deduction. So I've got to keep moving because I only signed up for a 30-minute, and our webinar is going so quickly. I'm going to quickly go on to the apprentice thing. If you do have an apprentice, please keep an eye out for our email. We are going to send out an email that says, if you've got an apprentice, please give us the authority to do it. And if you do it by the 10th of April, we're going to do it free of charge. Ordinarily, we would charge $250 per event, so like per application form. So this is a really, really, really great opportunity for you guys. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So moving right along. There's also some emergency laws that came into effect as of yesterday. Now, this one I'm still trying to get my head around, but apparently if you have the general public in your business, you must give them a 1.4 meter social distancing, and we must cancel all non-essential indoor events with more than 100 people in there. So, but if you've got a big business that has multiple rooms, then that must be limited to 100 people per room. Now, there are fines of $11,000 per incident and up to 6 months jail time. So this is really, really crazy. Oh, so there's something going on. 4 M per person. I'm not really sure about that, Deb. So I'm just going to keep going through the webinar. Anything that changes, I will definitely give you an email update on this. So yeah. The other thing, so I've tried to keep this employer obligation bit very, very simple for everybody. Basically, we've had a lot of questions about how this works, and we have found a very good information sheet from the Australian business lawyers, which I will be sending to everybody afterwards. But in essence, if you have to shut your business down, for whatever reason, then if you've got full-time and part-time, permanent part-time employees, they must continue to be paid. You can take their annual leave, but you must continue to pay them. If they're a casual employee and you've done your roster for the next week, then you have to pay them for that next week. If you say you close today for the foreseeable future, you have to pay for their roster next week, and thereafter you don't have to pay. There are a few other things that we've found are a bit quirky. We've got a couple of employees that are coming back to Australia from overseas and are in their quarantine period, and the work that they do, they can't work from home. So they must take annual leave for those extra 2 weeks that they're on quarantine. And if they run out of leave, then it's leave without pay. So, but we'll send it's quite a detailed document, but I just wanted to keep it as simple as we could. Storm, I will get back to you about your junior lighting guy. So cool. So this is the part that I think that we could get a lot of really good changes in how we operate our business. So we need to know how we can ethically continue to operate your business. For office workers, if you're not already using cloud storage, now is the time to start looking at it. For example, Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud, Microsoft OneDrive. we want to be allowing our employees to be able to work from home if they can, and to continue offering a high quality service. So that's what we have done for Catalyst Plus. All of our team are using our secure systems and our secure computers, working from home, so that we can continue to help you through this uncertain time. If you've got large social gatherings, I am still investigating this new law. It only came out yesterday, but if you do have people that are more than, like, it's indoors, we do need to be very careful of this, because they are saying that there's jail time involved. So perhaps start looking at changing to webinars like this, a GoToMeeting, Zoom, or Google. If you're a restaurant or a cafe, the ideas that we've come up for you are to offer home delivery free of charge, remove the seating that is making it have more than not doing the social distancing rules, and definitely encourage tap and go. So get away from cash, go for tap and go. Make sure you increase your food handling safety, and if you possibly can, get one of those little gizmos that you can just encourage all of your clients to use the alcohol wash. But remember, adhere to the lockdown rules. I will be getting some more information about that and getting onto it for you. Whoops. It's trying to tell me to upgrade. So hopefully we can get through this. If not, give me 5 minutes and then jump back onto the webinar. Trades, a lot of your customers are already at home, so now's the best time for you to get in touch with your customers and see if there's some work that you can get done. Make sure that you use good disinfectant protocol, and also make sure that you get them to sign a declaration if you're going into their home that they haven't been from overseas or been in contact with somebody for the last 14 days. The other alternative is that you just offer to do all the outside work, so outside painting, outside maintenance work and stuff like that. And then some marketing strategies. On your stalker book, you could do things like still open for business, working from home, or we're still open for business and here's some of the safety precautions we've put in place. That second one is particularly important for our restaurants. And as always, our online security is like bonk, bonk. Like really, really make sure you have those alarms. Do not ever give your email, username, password, or credit card details over email. Zero banks, the ATO, ASIC will never ask for this information. And make sure that you are proactive. Make sure that you sit down with your team and talk to them about strategies on how you can work, continue to work, and strategies how you can continue to serve your customers through this time. Encourage compassion towards your customers, and the strategies to cut any unnecessary spend. Always, if you can, support small local business like yourselves, and use this time to also look at how you can systemize a bit better and look at some of the creative solutions that you can come up with for some of your business processes. So work on yourselves, work on the business. Those kind of opportunities are here for us as well. So a quick one on how we're serving you just before we run out of time. So emails is definitely best, and all of our meetings, we're going to move them to Zoom, and we've also offered a 15-minute free.